Shri Sukhendu Shekhar Rai, 9 minutes.
Thank you, Madam. While deliberating on the discussion, my first point would be that I was alarmed to see the Indus Value Annual Report 2025 released by Bloom Ventures, which has highlighted alarming situation prevailing in our financial sector. First of all, it says, India remains the world's fastest growing major economy, now ranked number 4 in market cap at $4.5 trillion. Yet, on a per capita level, India ranks 149th, continuing to highlight the economic paradox India lives in. That is the most alarming and crucial issue, because the economic inequality has reached an all-time high. 90% of the Indians don't have the kind of incomes to be able to spend anything on discretionary goods. The report says. It also says that behind India's low 3.2% unemployment hides a deeper story. Only 22% have regular salaries, with just 9% holding formal contracts. The majority, 58%, are self-employed, a third of which are unpaid family workers. Our demographic dividend faces a formalization challenge, unlike Russia and China. So the vast army of unemployed youth in our country has posed a serious threat to not only to economic stability but the social order or disorder. My next point would be that we have experienced over the years that corporates are getting concessions one after another for the benefit of our country. But unfortunately, what we have seen, after the corporate tax was reduced from 30% to 22%, for which the public exchequer had to suffer 1 lakh crore of revenue loss in 2020-21 alone, even though the private investment is declining fast, as it decreased from 21% in 2022-23 to 13% in 23-24. It further dropped by 1.4% in the December quarter of 24-25. While public investments by the central government and the state governments grew by 11.8% and 34.6% respectively, then why corporates should be given such concessions in a routine manner? Let the present rate of 22% of corporate tax be enhanced to 30% to keep balance in revenue generation between the governments, both at the center and the state, and the corporates. Now the income tax disparity, as it appears again from Indus Valley report of the Bloom Ventures. India is deepening rather than widening, it says. While return filers grew to 75 million, actual taxpayers fell to 28 million, just 2% of population versus 10% in China, 43% in US. So in our country, only 2% pay the taxes. Those few taxpayers now shoulder a 3 times higher burden than a decade ago, showing concentration, not expansion of economic power. This is another cause of concern for our economic and social tension. My time is limited, so I will not go much. I will not say much on this because my predecessor has already spoken. The Union government, I mean the Honourable Finance Minister, disclosed in the Lok Sabha that the government has written off bad loans, non-performing assets, worth a staggering rupees 16.3 lakh crore worth over the past decade. 16.35 lakh crore. The data revealed that the bulk of these write-offs pertain to large industries and services, which alone accounted for about 9.26 lakh crore of the total NPA written off during this period. Now the government says, no, although we have written off, the recovery process is going on through Debt Recovery Tribunal, Company Law Tribunal, etc. Now, while the government clarified, yes. Now the Honorable Finance Minister also pointed out that Reserve Bank does not maintain a company-wise list of written off loans, and the disclosure of borrower-specific information is restricted under Section 45E of the RBI Act 1934. So it was an act passed in during colonial rule. What prevents the government from repealing Section 45E of the RBI Act? Government has repealed so many colonial acts, archaic acts, maybe more than 1,000 or 2,000, I don't remember. But I think that this section should be repealed because to create a transparency in all dealings, so that because the public money is involved. We have seen in which way the fraudsters are eating up the public money of particularly of the nationalized banks, not to speak of the other scheduled banks. Now, what is happening in the recovery proceedings, particularly after the introduction of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code in 2016? Addressing a Rozgar Mela in June 2020, Honorable Prime Minister stated that 99% of deposits of the public in banks have become safe. He added that the wealth of those who looted banks will be attached. This is another report. Now it appears that according to this report, according to a report by credit rating agency CareEdge, the overall recovery rate has fallen in the past few years. The cumulative recovery rate has been on a downtrend, decreasing from 43% in Q1 of financial year 20 to 32.9% in Q4 financial year 2022 and 32% in Q1 financial year 24. The recovery rates present a different picture if the 12 initial big-ticket accounts announced by the RBI in 2026, that time 43E was not there, so disclosed as if. So now then for the cases ending in resolution, the recovery rate on an average falls from 31.9% to 24.4%. Haircuts in CIRP under IBC is so high that it goes from 36 to 91 haircut, 91%. And to name a few, as disclosed by the RBI in 2016, that time also that section of RBI was there, even though I am referring, almost I am at the end, some companies, DHFL, Videocon Industry, Siva Industry, JSW, etc., and the rate of this haircut is from 36% to 91%. And the banks have, particularly the public sector banks, they have lost huge amount of money for such haircuts. My submission would be that to the Honorable Finance Minister to revisit this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and possibly time has come that it should be replaced with some other robust mechanism to stop all this loot which is going on, sometimes in the name of legal authority, legal institution, sometimes otherwise.
कृपया समाप्त करें।
Thank you, madam.